Hello, guys. Alex Fedotoff here, and today we have an amazing guest. We have Max Medroso. So Max is a client in our e-commerce scaling secrets program, and he's scaled his business, and he also exited his business for seven figures. So I'm very excited to have him here, and figure out kind of like what got him to this level, and what we can all learn from it. So thank you for joining, my man. So how did you get into e-commerce?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur from the beginning, right? So in high school, I've always been somebody who's loved science. So actually, I was able to actually publish a paper, like in a science journal about like one of the products that I developed. So like I really love developing products, but the problem was I figured out is you can work on like developing a product.
What kind of product? Like, can you give example?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've heard about Flint, Michigan before.
No, what is it?
So it's a city in Michigan that has lead in their water. So our like goal was to make a filter
Wow.
that would remove lead from the water.
So you like what? Mechanical engineer, like chemical engineer? What is that?
I was going to be a chemical engineer, but then I figured out that you could spend 3-4 years developing a product and not have like an outcome from it. So we weren't able to really monetize it or sell it that well because like quite frankly, I didn't have the skills at that time, right? So then I tried finding a business model that would actually allow me to make money quickly while learning quickly, while still being able to use my skills of product development.
Wait,
So that's why I
like,
went to e-commerce.
okay, so where did you study? Like, is that like Wharton, Harvard? Where's that?
I went to Purdue University, so it's like a top engineering school. I actually ended up dropping out to start e-commerce.
No shit, like top engineering school.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, right? It's a good engineering school, but the problem is a lot of people there like are there for the job at the end of it. There's not really a ton of entrepreneurs, so it's hard to find people like me, right? So around sophomore year, that's actually when I started getting into e-commerce, developing my skills. It's actually during the COVID semester, right? So when COVID hit, I figured out, okay, I don't want to really go back to school because it didn't fit my viewpoints. So then I just went into e-commerce.
So literally 2 years ago, you started this like e-commerce business.
Not the specific one that I ended up selling, but I did fail in like maybe like 20 different stores. I'm like personally, I'm not like a consumer. I didn't know how to like market at that time, so I didn't really know how to like develop copy and find a product. So it did take me like several months to kind of hit my big win, and I did hit my big win in around October of 2020.
October 2020. The business that you have sold when? Like February 2022?
Yeah, so like around a year and a year and a half.
Year and a half, you were able to start a business and scale it and sell it for like seven figures?
Yep.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just worked constantly in it, and I did have like good resources like ESS to help me.
How big was your team like when you sold the business?
Yeah, it was around 10 people, right? So we had like a creative team. They were pretty much self-sufficient, like sourcing content, like making those ads and then testing it. And then we had some people in SEO, and then we had like one person in customer support who would handle like hundreds of tickets a day. Like we only had one person in customer support because we tried to make her as efficient as possible. And then, that's pretty much it. It really encompasses the creative team.
Wow. And so like, do you have any other like co-founders or other partners in this business?
No, it's just me.
Wow. And you hired every single person? And
Yeah,
trained them?
I actually hired every single person from onlinejobs.ph, right? It's funny because I know that you don't really like that website, but I think.
Oh man, I mean, I'm just like I'm probably not flexible enough, but I mean, like, you managed to make it successful,
I think it's really all in the job post. Like I think of like hiring as almost like marketing for a customer. So I make it. I like impose my direct response, skills on that job post to kind of get really good talent, and then I just shortlist them.
Wow. So what do you mean by job posts? Like, do you have specific things like when you hire people, kind of like disqualify people in a specific way, or like give like more details? Can you give an example of that?
Yeah, so I think the job post disqualifies a lot of people. So the first thing we do is we make it very controversial. So like an example would be, like, do you hate people? We sure do. Like they're the worst. And then we say we're like two introverts like looking to hire people. You know, and we try to like fit it within the values and the culture that we have. So as soon as people see that job post, they're like, it filters out all the people we don't like, but it filters the people we do like, which are like introverts who can kind of work with themselves and are independent. Of course, we love people. We like talking to our employees, but it's just like controversial. They open the email and then they're more likely to respond to it, right? And then after that, we go through the Who interview process, the one that you actually sent to me one time. We asked them through their entire job experience, like step by step. Like we go from their first job to their last job, asking them like, what was your hardest challenges, your your setbacks, that sort of thing. So we get a complete picture of what they did. And what we're looking for is people who have been pulled into a job rather than pushed, right? So you don't want people who like have been fired. You want people who have been like pulled into a job and like uplifted into it, right? So that's what we look for. We also look for good English skills, because of course you don't want to talk to people who can't like speak English, right? And then besides that, we have a scorecard, right? So we actually
Man, you're actually one of the like it's like, okay, it's like the book is like $15 on Amazon, right? Like it's like you're actually one of those like chosen like few people who actually buys the book and actually applies the fucking book. Everyone has access to the book, it's like, yeah, it's on Amazon, it's $15, like
Yeah, I mean, the resources are all out there. I just feel like for e-commerce and online business in general, it's all about skills, right? So that's why I like e-commerce. You don't need the networking. Well, you do, but it helps, but it's not necessary. You don't need the capital. Of course, it helps, but it's not necessary. You just need the skills.
Man, like what I'm truly, wow. This is very impressive, what you have done like at this age, like it's very impressive. Like I want to figure out like what was your like childhood like where this all like kind of like started, this even like entrepreneurial stuff, like what was the motivation for you to even like go in this direction?
Yeah, for me, I felt like always, I guess, an outcast during middle school and high school. I didn't really talk to a ton of people, so I felt like I had to, I guess, at the root of it, prove myself to society and the world that I can actually do something. So that's why I think throughout high school and middle school, and college, I've always focused on things outside the realm of society. So if like, let's say, society tells me to do this, I tend to do the opposite, just because I feel like that's my way of like expressing myself. And I think that does root from the fact that I wasn't really like, accepted like within like my peer group during that time, right? So I think
did you get bullied in school?
Not necessarily. I just didn't feel like included, right? So I think a lot of entrepreneurs.
I was bullied, man. Like I was bullied.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking. I was bullied too. Like I resonate with this like so much. Like it's kind of like not getting accepted and getting beat up and like like.
I think entrepreneurs, they resonate with it, because how else do you end up starting something that's different if you're not different in the first place as a person, right? So you do need that, I guess, foundation, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs definitely resonate with that.
Man, that's crazy. Wow. Okay, so one thing you mentioned that you launched a bunch of stores, a lot of them didn't work out. So what did you learn from it, or what was kind of like? Did you kind of like with every single store, did you get a little bit smarter, like in terms of like choosing what products to go for, like what niche to go for, or it was just like random, like a lottery, like a gambling?
I would say I did get smarter in terms of the niches I went for. At first, I would go with, trending products, the products that people recommend to me, right? But then afterwards, I started selling products that I would actually resonate with as a person, as a buyer, because that's the easiest way to market, right? If you're the personal buyer, or you would have been the buyer, then, it's very easy to market. So our product is actually a science gadget, which fits very well with like what I did as a kid. So I knew exactly, what to do to make parents and grandparents buy it. In terms of what kept me going, right? I definitely made a conscious decision. Like I recommend anybody who's starting e-commerce to make a conscious decision and say it out loud that you will stick to e-commerce and you will do it or die, that sort of thing, right? Like, because for me, like, if you fail in, like, let's say 20 plus different stores, right, at a certain point you get demotivated. But if you have no other choice, then you're just going to keep going, and eventually you're going to hit your win. I think of it in terms of almost gambling. Well, like an expected value, like gambling, like where you just need to win once, right? And then if you win once, then you're pretty much set for life.
That's how you see it.
Hey guys, people have been asking me how we scale to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook. And we have a very sophisticated solution for this that I want to share with you, but it's just like too valuable to give away for free. So if you guys want this solution, just book a call with one of my team members and we'll show you exactly what it is and how it works, and we'll see if that's a good fit for you and for your business. So just book a call with my team member. We'll share it with you so you can scale your business to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook, without having inconsistency, and with high profitability. So just book a call with my team and I'll see you there.
Let's say you have like 100 people, right? You give them the opportunity like e-commerce, right? Which, as you said, it can, like, if you do it right once, I mean, your next exit will be like probably like 10 million, then you do 100 million, whatever that is, like you'll figure your way out to your 100 million or a billion, like whatever that is. But it's like, you give that same opportunity to 100 people, 95 of them, or like 99, like, like they will not do it. Like they will have like 1, 2, 3 stores, and they're like, oh, there's another shiny object, and they'll just move on to the next one. That will probably also will not work out. They'll switch to another, and then the whole life they'll spend in that circle. So what it is like that kept you going through that?
Yeah, I would say I've always been a competitive person. I don't know if you're the same way, but like if I see somebody that's doing like better than me in the same field and they're in the same circumstance and they're doing better, I get like really angry at myself. I don't know if it's a healthy thing, but it is what it is. So I kind of live with it. So when I did make that conscious decision into e-commerce, and the reason why I did it is because you only need skills, right? As I mentioned earlier, which I could learn. I decided, like, after that conscious decision, I knew for a fact that I would eventually be successful. It's just a matter of time. And before e-commerce, I did a lot of like stock market trading. So I lost a lot of money, and I needed money for like food for college. So I decided that this would be the way to do it, right?
So with stock market, you didn't see, let's say with trading, you didn't see that direct correlation, like with your skills, like that you can kind of like achieve your goals. Like, so for example, you could have stuck with stock market trading and kind of like figured that out. So what made you decide to go like into e-commerce? Do you feel like you have more control with e-commerce? Do you feel like it's more kind of like controllable from if you're doing the right things, then over time you'll get what you want, or is there something else?
Yeah, so for e-commerce, again, as you just said, right? If you do the right things, you're going to get what you want. For the stock market, you can do the right things, and then the market will go against you, and then you lose money, and then you're bust, right? So I definitely like the control aspect of e-commerce, and that's why I chose it. For the stock market, I'm quite frankly not good at it at all. I really just got lucky with GameStop. For the rest of the times, I just keep losing money. So it's really like a fun thing for me rather than like a full-time job.
So in that like 1.5 years, how much revenue you've done with that business?
Yeah, so we did maybe like a couple million with like 40% profit margins. So our profit margins were really good because it's a small science product, right? It's like a small gadget, so shipping is cheap, and it's actually funny. So I found the product on Amazon. It was actually a bestseller. They were selling it for $10. Guess how much we sold it for? $50.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So it's all about value, right? How much value you can provide to the customer, and we saw through our marketing angle that we're providing a good educational foundation for children if you buy our science gadget, and parents are willing to pay a lot of money for a good foundation. And actually, it's a really good product, so I'm really proud of what we did there.
Wow, man, this is awesome. So, did you include any like digital products, any kind of like PDF stuff like that?
Yeah, we included PDFs, and I recommend that everybody includes like a digital product. For us, we did it for free, so we added that as a bundle for free, and then it actually increased our conversion rates by maybe 15 to 20%. So that's just that's just free, value being provided, and then you can
Wow.
increase, money from that.
So you seen that like very fast kind of like increase in conversion rate once you added the PDF?
Yes, and the funny thing is we actually got the baseline outline content just straight online, so you can buy like ebooks straight online, and then you just make like some graphics on it, and then fix the grammar, and then it's pretty much good from there.
That's insane. What do you want to like? What do you have in mind? I mean, like, now you have the capital. I mean, you have the skills. I mean, like, what are your plans?
Yeah, so we're gonna go into the like health and wellness space for women in particular, treating like inflammation. So what we worked with like a food scientist and many different like doctors to kind of develop a custom product. So that's gonna be our goal, where we like
Like
leverage.
a supplement or skin product?
It's like a supplement, but in like food form, like powder form.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Like greens,
Yeah.
greens, like athletic greens.
I would say similar to that, but
Yeah.
like chocolate flavor, right? So it's gonna be like a powder sort of thing.
Nice.
It's catered to
Collagen?
women. No,
No.
no. Yeah, it's actually so in the market.
Inflammation. Wow.
Yeah, in
shit,
the market,
wow.
there's a lot of like I guess unnatural solutions to it, right? But then we're coming up with a natural solution that actually tastes good. So the plan would be like to develop this custom product, because I believe in e-commerce the product is still 80-20, right? You can have excellent marketing, but still at the end of the day the product does the heavy lifting. So we
And
use this
especially, I mean,
product.
if you're going consumables, I mean, if people will not buy it again, I mean, that's like, you will not build a business with consumables. Like, it's all like 20, 30, 40% probably. Like, you need to have that repeat customers in order to build sustainable business.
That's true. Yeah, and for the previous business I built, the science gadgets, we had a lot of upsells, but the problem is people wouldn't come back until maybe a year later, right? Because how many times do you have to buy toys for your kids, right? So I want to build like a business that lasts 10, 20, 30 years. Like I hope that this is a business that I can stay in for a long time, just because I do know the value of like compound interest, if that makes sense, for skills, and also for like a business that constantly keeps growing. So hopefully this would be it. Hopefully the custom product that we get a patent for, all that ends up working well.
Okay, tell me your thought process, right? Like, knowing what you know now, having the capital, having this like first like success, like what's your thought process? Like, how did you, let's say you want to like launch a product, how did you find that inflammation issue? How did you like, okay, this is the direction I want to go? Like, what decisions like did you make? Kind of like, what was your thought process even like in getting in that direction?
I think it's definitely a mindset shift that you have to do from a consumer to a producer, if that makes sense. So a lot, like a common exercise I would do is walk into, like let's say Target or Walmart, see a random product and say, how would I sell it, right? So let's say I see like deodorant, and then I see it being marketed towards, women. Maybe I can market it towards a different way. It's just a exercise that I do constantly. So then when my girlfriend started complaining about a specific issue, right, I applied that same mindset to that issue, and I was able to kind of come up with a solution to it, right? So I just really think it's changing your mindset in that simple exercise way to kind of figure out and search for problems that can be solved, right? Of course, not all problems can be solved. That's kind of like we have like a set of criteria that we kind of look for to see if we want to go into like a particular business, and this one fits it. Which I would say the main criteria would be like, if we provide a good customer experience, right, will these customers come back? And if the answer is yes, then I think that takes care of most of it. Of course, we look at margins and stuff like that, but the 80-20 is a good customer experience is equal to, like repeat customers.
That was your first company that you built, right?
Yes, yeah.
So was it like, did you make like any mistakes? Like, did you hire like wrong people and then you realized it was like a wrong decision?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I hired a social media manager, and the thing is, he's very nice, but he just did not get the job done, right? So then I gave him a lot of opportunities, but eventually I had to fire him. And the day after I fired him, his mom died in the hospital, and then he started blaming me for all the problems that he had. He started like contacting my employees, telling them that I'm such a bad person for, leaving his mom to die, that sort of thing. I think it's the worst experience I've had in terms of like hiring people.
Jesus Christ!
Just because it became very personal, right?
Did you treat him badly at any point?
No, in fact, I gave him like I guess like an advance for money because I knew his mom was sick, so I gave him advances for money. But the problem is like at a certain point, there's only so much you can do, right? And it's hurting the rest of the team because of his performance. So I just had to cut him, and it is unfortunate what happened. Like the day after, but I don't think I had anything to do with it. Just because like I still gave him the advance. I still did as much as possible. But what I did learn is try to fire people more gracefully. I think I could have done that a lot better because I just sent him. I didn't like go like on a call with him and just be like, "Oh, you're fired," that sort of thing. I just sent him like a message on Slack. So I think I could have done that a lot better.
That was the only one mistake you've done, like in 1.5 years.
In terms of firing people, but for hiring people, I made a lot of mistakes for bad hires. So before the Who interview process, the one that Sergey gave me, we hired an email marketer that didn't work out. We hired many different social media managers that didn't work out. We hired customer service people that didn't work out. And the main issue that we would find is that these people would do good for maybe a week, and then afterwards they would fall off. They would not be communicative. They would not put in the effort that we would expect. And I think the issue is we didn't vet well enough we didn't like look at their history, right? Because I think history does, inform what somebody will do in the future, right? So if we just focus on the past. You didn't
check like references?
No, we did not check references at that time, no. Which I think we should have done, but it's something that we're starting to do now.
Oh man, so what the SS helped you with? Let's could you have like some examples of like where it helped? Obviously, okay, like considering the little like maybe like thing that like you met the company that bought your business at our event. So like if not including this one.
Yeah. So around like maybe 4 to 5 months into my business, I was actually thinking of quitting because I made enough money on GameStop, and my business was getting like, it was down in the dumps. We were not making any money because we got Facebook banned, right? So this was maybe like a year ago, right? And then I talked to, I think, JP, and then he introduced me to the Garden of Eden system, which allowed us to kind of get out of that Facebook ban and then allow us to scale further, right? So because of that solution, I kind of sticked with the business rather than, just leaving and starting something else. And also I was able to like connect with a lot of different people. And I think one thing as an entrepreneur is once you have success, you start thinking you're like all that, like you're amazing, right? But the thing is, there's always somebody above you, right? So you just have to be exposed to that sort of, those thought processes and those people to kind of move forward, or else you're going to become complacent, which I have been doing recently. So, but when I'm introduced with these people, it kind of, lights the fire underneath me, helps me keep going.
So what's a marketing plan for this business once you have like some products ready? Like let's say you have let's just kind of like your thought process when you have the actual like formula finalized, the product tastes like amazing. Like what are your like next steps from there?
Yeah, so we're actually going two avenues. So the first avenue is actually called like an email launch, right? From, I don't know if you watched Jeff Walker or like read Jeff Walker's launch book. Yeah.
Like,
so we're going into
a few videos and then like email sequence and stuff like that, or like
we're doing that actually. But what we're doing, because of ESS, right? I was able to actually connect with so many different people, rent their email list and start sending out emails to them so that we can get people from the get-go rather than paying for Facebook ads or
you connected with people inside of like ESS, or you connected
Yeah, so we actually have access to like hundreds of thousands of like emails, which is crazy. I mean, these people.
Know that. Like, you managed to do that. Holy shit, man!
It's a free way. Think about it. It's a free way to kind of test a product, right? And test demand.
And so then you would pay these people for like a CPA or like percentage of the sales or something like that.
We negotiated affiliate like deals, right, based on percentage of sales, but also we negotiated like money per email like given, right? So if like let's say 10 people signed up, we would give them $10 or something like that. So
Uh-huh.
based on email sign up. So if the list is not good, then we wouldn't pay them. But if the list is good, we get signups, then we do pay these people.
Hmm.
So it's been going really well so far to kind of narrow down our offer, make sure the offer is good before launch, and also to get a list going so that we have people to kind of sell to as soon as we're available.
Wow. Okay. So that's awesome. So okay. So that's it. So that's your first kind of like channel, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, and then the second channel is just normal like Facebook ads, right? We're reaching out to influencers. We're shortlisting a ton of people to make content
Hmm.
because now that Facebook has changed because of iOS 14,
Yeah.
you can't really like you have to focus on the ad itself, the content that you're
Yeah.
creating, not more so the media buying side, but the content. So we're going to be using influencers and then just repurposing that content for Facebook, which is a pretty typical strategy nowadays, but I think it's going to work well for our business.
What will be your pricing point?
We I after my original business where we sold something for $10 or for $50 that you can buy for $10, I want to go for premium almost all the time, right?
Uh-huh.
So we want to be on the high end of the market, and because that way we can have the margin to kind of serve our customers. Because we're really going to be focusing on the customer experience, making sure that the customers are happy. We actually included that as one of our core values, which we drill like heavily into our employees.
Geez, this is like a masterclass on hiring and building company, like all in like 45 minutes.
Thank you, Alex. I
Are
mean,
you able? So here's a question: like, are you able to like? Because I mean, literally, I mean, I had Villain here. Like, Villain is also one of the one of the people in ESS, but he's also like he's very similar. He's like Google stuff, find stuff, ask like send me a question, like answer it, like. But one of the things that he told me that he was like during certain times he was like isolating himself with like social media, like Instagram, like YouTube's like he would just focus on work, right? And that's it.
mhm.
Do you also do the same? Do you compartmentalize, like kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a business. I'm here to find the solution, and I'm not because I think that could be like one of the things. I mean, all these resources, traction book, $15. Like why then like entrepreneurs don't have fucking teams? Why they don't grow like you know what I mean? Like you did 1.5 years like from zero to multi seven figure like in an exit. It's like why not? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to understand like.
I think what's important is to find your what's called inspiration machine,
Uh-huh.
right? So what I think entrepreneurs need to do is find what triggers you to go into a flow state. So I actually got this inspiration machine like learning from the Patreon CEO, right? So I watched one of his talks, and he talked about how he would watch Gary Vee videos to kind of spark that inspiration and get into a flow state. So all you have to do is analyze your flow state, and when you're in that flow state, you just have to be like cognizant that, oh, how did I get into this flow state, right? You just have to analyze your behavior and be like, oh, I did it because I worked out for 30 minutes beforehand or something like that, or I took a walk, or I watched Gary Vee, or I talked with a friend, right? You just have to figure out what's that trigger and utilize that trigger for getting work done. It's just being cognizant about that trigger.
So did you have a time? It's like, okay, you sold the business. Did you kind of like chill? Did you coast like for a bit, like 1 week, 2 weeks, like months? Like, did you have like, oh, I go for a vacation, I spend like 20 G's on some dumb shit? Like, did you have anything like that?
I did not, right? So I was actually starting my new business as while during the transition period of the other business, right? So I don't think I really had a break
Uh-huh.
per se. And the reason why I did sell that old business is because I wanted to come into, I wanted to like free up my brain, if that makes sense. So even though the business was automated, right, it was able to kind of run by itself. It was still taking up brain space, which I wanted to kind of free up to start my new thing. So that's why I started my new thing. I don't think I took a break, and I did find within myself pretty early that I like working, and I don't think I would rather do anything else. So might as well keep going, right?
So you're addicted to work, like would you say, or like you just enjoy it so much?
I'm probably addicted to it. Yeah, I would feel guilty if I'm not. Maybe it's not a healthy thing, but it is what it is, right?
My man, thank you so much. Looking forward to see your next successes, and yeah, thank you for like yeah, thank you for applying stuff. I mean, it's like we're sharing stuff with people, trying to help. It's like, but only a small percentage of people like wanna kind of like apply and like, So you actually did. So I'm so excited for this. And did you get yourself the rocket fuel?
I did not read that yet. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, get it. It's from the same. It's from the Traction people, from the Traction author. It's about the collaboration between visionary and integrator. So as you have director of operation now, you gotta kind of like know like the kind of like.
Is this something you would recommend besides Traction too? Does Traction cover all of it?
Yep.
Okay, I'll read it. Okay, rocket fuel.
Yeah, my man. So thank you, and thank you guys for watching. We'll drop Max like Instagram, so I don't know if you're on like social media, so people can connect with you.
Not really, but yeah, we can drop the Instagram. I
Okay.
use it. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Max, and we'll see you in the
Thank
next.
you, Alex.